The Asia Road Racing Championships comes to you from the Sugo International Racing Circuit in the Miyagi Prefecture in the northeast of Japan. Beautiful conditions. As you can see, we're perched in the middle of a lovely mountain range, but the sun is out. And we have had an excellent first race in the TVS 1 Mix Series. Coming up next is the Underbone 150cc. Let's just remind ourselves what happened in yesterday's race, which in the end turned into be a really good education from Wayu Aji Trilaksana. Race 1 highlights for the Underbone 150cc, and it was a local Japanese, Uezo for Team One for All, who was on pole position after qualification. There he is in the yellow and red, getting off to a fiery start and taking Afif Amram with him as he led coming at the end of the first lap, Uezo. It did look as though the Japanese would be able to race away from everybody else, but he was out of the gun a little bit too quick, and it was actually his teammate Pirapong Loboinpeng who was able to take over the lead for a short time. As always in Underbone, there were multiple lead changes. Izzat Zaidi Salhan second place in the overall championship standings, Afif Amran fourth in qualification. They all had their moments in the lead, and Ahmad Fajli Sham, the veteran from Malaysia in the all green one XOX TKR Racing Team colours, he was also up there. But it was around about midpoint that we really began to see for the first time Wayu Aji Trilaksana. Bike number 60, again in the all-green livery of the one XOX TKR Racing Team. He's just beginning to get a little bit closer. He let Afif Amran do an awful lot of the work, and Afif on 7 of the 10 laps led up the hill. His teammate Taharuddin went out sadly for the Cardinals Racing Team, and even worse, Afif was unable to capitalize on them many times. He was in the lead. There he is leading with 3 laps to go. But then with 2 laps to go, we saw Wayu Aji Trilaksana begin to make his move for the front. Currently in P3, just looking to time it perfectly. Coming into the chicane on the final corner. Look at that, he just takes it perfectly, gets a great drive out. Ahmad Afif Amram is caught by a posse of racers behind him, but fizzing away ahead in a superb performance. It really was a talismanic performance from Wayu Aji Trilaksana. It was his first win of the season, but extends his lead at the top of the overall championship standings ahead of Izzat Zaidi to 35 points. So the sun is out, but the wind is also there. We are in Japan. Great to be back in Japan for the Asian Road Racing Championships. It's our first visit to the Sugo International Circuit. This is the circuit. It's a lovely undulating course. The highest point of the circuit is corner number 6, but the highlight, well, you've got the 2 long straights, but coming up the chicane on 12 and 13, and then over the brow of the hill, turn number 14 there, the highlights. Underbone 150cc down on the grid. I think Barry Russell is preparing with some interviews.
We're bathed in sunshine down here on the Underbone 150 grid, and the atmosphere is absolutely electric after yesterday's fantastic race. We're going to go and talk to 3 of the riders we expect to feature in today's contest, and we're going to start with the pole sitter, Oi Uezu, riding for Team One for All. Oi Uezu, you qualified brilliantly. Yesterday could have been better. What's your target for today?
Today, I'll do my best. Yeah.
And would you like to say something to your fans in Japanese?
応援していただいている皆さんには、昨日は本当不甲斐ないレースを見せてしまって本当に申し訳なかったです。今日はとてもフィーリングがいいので、しっかり優勝できるように頑張りたいと思います。応援よろしくお願いします。
Oi Uezu, good luck for today. And we're going to go just straight behind and go to the man leading the second row, and that is Afif Amran. Afif, can we have a word? You've been fast, but you've had some challenges, it's fair to say, over this weekend. How has your preparation been for race 2? What's your plan today?
I think the race 2 maybe more fighting. By the way,
I want to push everything I have, and I do my best for the race too.
FIM ARRC, good luck for today. So FIM ARRC, fast, promising rider. And now we're going to go to yesterday's race winner, Wayuaji Triliksana, yesterday's race winner. What you did was kind of magical in that final chicane yesterday, so congratulations for that. Will you have a similar strategy for today?
Yes, I just focus to push.
So your plan is leading group, stay there, pounce. Does anybody know what you did in the final chicane?
Yeah.
Good luck for today, Wayuaji.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's us. We're clearing the grid now. We'll be back. I'll be back in the commentary box very soon. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Barry. Wayuaji not giving Barry Russell an awful lot to work on there, but push and be with the leading group. That is clearly what it's all about. We're looking at the bike here. Visit Zaidi Salahan, who is currently second in the championship standings, 25 points adrift of Wayuaji Triliksana. He got a P4 yesterday. He's picked up points in all 5 races so far. He won the first race of the season. Then we've got Hafid Pratameditya Nusandi on the Pittsbike JRT one-way team. Hafid picked up his first points of the season yesterday. He'd had 4 did-not finishes prior to that. He'd actually performed pretty well in qualification in all of them. Pirapong Lubainpeng from Team One for All. He got a P2 yesterday, which is his best result of the season, currently 6th in the overall championship standings. And look out for Team One for All, because Uezo is still on pole position, and they performed pretty well so far this year. Hafiza Rofo, a real superstar on the Cup Pre-Circuit in Malaysia, a bit of an expert on these underbone machines. He qualified in 6th place. This is Shafiq Grosley, who's also on the Cup Pre-Circuit back in Malaysia. And he's not had the results perhaps that he thinks he deserves. He had 1 did not finish, he had a did not start in Malaysia, a couple of P8, so look out for Shafiq, who will try to stay within the leading group. And then alongside them you've got Indonesia's Murabil Vitoni from the LFN Indonesia racing team. The black and gold, easy to pick out. He will start on the 3rd row of the grid. It's the 30-second marker about to be paraded. Sugo bathed in sunshine. Look at the lovely fluffy clouds just above the beautiful blue sky. Conditions absolutely perfect, but we are in the hills. It can be very changeable. Rain is predicted for maybe later on today, 6 or 7 o'clock. There was rain this morning. Warm-up was carried out in wet weather conditions. But it's a glorious day at the moment. 30 degrees plus. This is the Underbone 150cc. This is just the formation lap, and let's run you through the runners and riders as they are. Uezo for Team One for All on pole position ahead of Izzat Zaidi Salan, number 2 in the championship, and Hafid from Indonesia on the Yamaha in P3. Ahmad Afif Amram, expecting more from Ahmad Afif from Cardinals Racing Team in P4. Pitaponglo Boimpeng, Team One for All, P2 yesterday. Hafiza Rofo, 1XOX TKR Racing Team in P6, very capable of getting a victory. Wayuaji Triliksana, yesterday's race winner, a previous champion in Underbone. Shafiq Grosley, very capable racer from Malaysia. Murabil Vitoni from the LFN Indonesia Racing Team. P10 goes to Kapita Kreshna, 2 times the champion. John Emerson Ingito, who was fast this morning in warm-up, and Ahmad Fazli Sham, the Malaysian veteran from the 1XOX TKR Racing Team. Jordan Badaru, who started the season well, hasn't really been able to build on that. He's alongside Nazrul Izzat Bahaudan from Malaysia, and Dimas Juli Atmoko, who starts in P15, started P20 yesterday. Giancarlo Maurizio from the Philippines in 16, ahead of Ayman Tahirudin, who had to retire yesterday. And then the Vietnamese Nguyen Duc Tan for Honda Racing Vietnam in P18. Final row of the grid is Nguyen Antoine, Honda Racing Vietnam, and April King Moscado, who again was pretty quick in warm-up this morning. Had a disappointing time, April King Moscado. I think many in Philippines, and certainly the neutrals here, are expecting a bit more of him. Best position for him so far this season, a P6. Japanese hospitality and the courtesy has been evident for all to see. It's been a really enjoyable first introduction to Sugo. I'd seen the circuit beforehand on TV, but once you hear that particular part of the track where you're coming up the hill into the chicane and then up that 70-meter rise, it is a long way up that hill. It's a long way to walk up that hill. And underbones, well, if you're in the lead, they can be very dispiriting because you'll be towing people alongside you and they will almost inevitably overtake you at the end. Uezo first once again, getting in there nice and quickly. Team 1XOX TKR, their boys, they've got 3 racers in here today. Ahmed Fazli Sham, Wayo Ajitrilaksana, yesterday's race winner, of course, and Hafiz Arofa. There is Wayo Aji, the red numbering and the red helmet. And Barry Russell is back alongside me, double shifting for Barry. He's doing the pit walk, he's doing the emceeing. He's also co-commentating here, and Wayo Aji didn't give a lot to you in that interview, did he? But he did give enough away to say he's confident.
Yeah, he is confident. You could see, actually, with all 3 riders, they were pretty tense on the grid, as they should be. Here's the start.
Underbone 150cc. Everybody on the grid ready to go. It's a 10-lap race, and Wayo Ajitrilaksana gets off to a decent start. Uezo is caught though on the line, and Izzat Zaidi will be the man who takes the lead going into the first corner. Uezo, P2 for him. Ahmed Afif Amran has got up into P3, so a solid start once again for Izzat Zaidi, but it's not a lead that normally holds in Underbone, but he's quite happy to take the lead going up the hill for the very first time. In fact, Uezo has come back and will slingshot up the hill, and going up to the highest points in the circuit. It'll be Uezo who has the lead.
It's always like that, Des. As soon as by the time you finish the sentence about the leader, there's another one.
Wayo Ajitrilaksana has got himself very early up into the leading group. Yesterday, Barry, was noticeable that he was in the secondary group. He was quite a way down, 2 or 3 seconds down at the midway point, but then manipulated his way back. Somebody's gone very, very wide there. Actually, somebody's got a problem. Looked like April King Moscato.
Hopefully not. He's had his share of problems this weekend. I think that's Hafisa Rofa having a look, but so is Afif Amran.
Afif Amran.
Why am I even bothering?
Indeed. Cardinals Racing Team, yeah, there's an early problem. We've got a casualty. 23, Gupita Krishna is out. The champion.
Disappointing for Gupita. He hasn't had a fair run of luck, really.
And Gupita Krishna, bad news for us. He had the onboard camera. I wonder if he can give it to somebody as they go past him next lap round. I don't think so. Anyway, Ahmed Afif Amran, who led for 6 or 7 of the laps yesterday, Barry. He's leading going up the hill once again, but once again, he's overtaken by Team 1 for All's Uezo. So Ahmed Afif Amran certainly likes to go from the front, but he's overtaken by 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's got himself back into P2.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick Yamaha, isn't it, that Team 1 for All machine? We have seen him before out-drag some of the other bikes going up there. Wayo Aji in second now.
Hafiz Arofa is the man chasing Ahmed Afif. They see plenty of each other on the Capri circuits. And Wayo Ajitrilaksana not too far adrift of what's going on.
It's right what you said, Des. Wayo Aji hasn't given himself as much work to do as he did yesterday, so if he can just stay here or hereabouts.
Izzat Zaidi, and sorry I cut you off, and Murabil is also there, the Indonesian. He hasn't scored the points perhaps that he would have liked. As for the Filipinos, John Emerson in Quito, he's in P9. He's in a secondary group, so you've got an initial group, but they do bunch up again pretty quickly.
Yeah, John Emerson's been impressive this weekend through free practice, qualifying-ish, and in the race. And in warm-up this morning, he was quickest.
Yeah, all 3 Filipinos did well this morning, didn't they? April King Moscato was also there, but April King's had a tough old time of it. Where he is, he's got up to P11, April King Moscato.
Yeah, and that's Murabil tracking Wayo Aji.
Early stages, Ahmed Afif Amran led up the hill at the end of lap number 1. He's going to lead up the hill at the end of lap number 2. It's leading up the hill at the end of lap number 10 that really matters.
Yeah, this time Uezu is down there.
We've lost Uezu quite a bit. Both Team One for All races have
He's
lost out.
He's gone backwards to join Pirapong, who's been towards the rear of that group.
Hafiz Arofa is the new race leader. Ahmed Afif Amran and Izzat Zaidi make it a 1-2-3 for Malaysia at the moment. Again, that can change very well. Tell you what, these guys must be sick of the sight of seeing each other. They raced in Cup 3 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, indeed, wasn't it last week?
Really competitive competition, that one. As Afif Arofa still leads the way. Izzat Zaidi second in the championship standings. He'll be with a 25-point differential. Izzat Zaidi at the very least needs to make sure he's ahead of Wayu Aji-Trilaksana, because there's only 4 races left after this. And if you're, I don't know, 30 or 40 points down with 4 races to go, it gives you an awful lot of work that you need to be doing.
Yeah, he hasn't won a championship yet, I don't think.
No.
Izzat Zaidi, but he does look capable of it.
Yeah, he's a competent racer. He's had 1 race win so far this season, a P4, a P5 and a P6. Peter Kreshner is out. Young Duck is way down. But look at the lead that Izzat Zaidi has established here. We have had 1 runaway race in the Underbone so far this season. You rarely get them, but in Buriram, I think it was Ahmed Afif Amran in race number 2 was able to scoot away from everybody else. Very rare to see that, and he's trying to do the same again here.
Yeah, let's see what happens as he comes across the finish line. I think that group's trying to suck him back. It's difficult to tell from that angle, but yeah, you can see.
Izzat Zaidi leads over the line. 3 times Ahmed Afif Amran has led up the hill. 3 times he's been captured by the line. Must be a little bit frustrating. Izzat Zaidi is there. You're just dragging riders up with you.
Yeah.
Ahmed Afif in P2. Hafiz Arofa is there. Izzat Zaidi is still leading the way. Nazrul Izzat is the latest. Bike number 87 has got himself into a decent position. Nazrul Izzat Bahoudin on the Yamaha for Uma Racing Maju Asia team.
And I just saw the other Cardinals bike getting amongst it as well.
Yeah, Pirapong, fastest lap, 1:47.4.
So Pirapong on the move. He finished second yesterday, of course.
Harry Russell and Des Corkell on the microphone for what is already looking to be an intriguing, and we're expecting a little bit of mayhem on the last lap here because there's so much competition for place. Hafiz Arofa takes the wide route outside, or we've got a second retirement. That's one of the Uma Racing competitors.
Couldn't see which one that was, but
Giancarlo, I think.
yeah, he's spoiling Afif Amran's plans to escape at the front, or trying to.
Well, Afif is there. Wayu Aji-Trilaksana in that group. I'm trying to see the red helmet. Oh, he's dropped back a little bit. Wayu Aji, there he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, Ahmed Afif decides, I want to lead coming up this hill. It is a strange old tactic, because each time on the 3 previous laps he has been caught by the group as he goes over the start-finish line. This time just manages to hold on, but by the no, he's just beaten once again, this time by Hafiz from Indonesia.
Yeah, Hafiz took the momentum that what we saw yesterday on the last lap from Wayu Aji pulling away on that final stretch was still got me scratching my head. I don't know how he did it.
And guess who it was who was pulling away from? Afif Amran. Again, had the same tactic yesterday. It's clearly something Cardinals are working on, trying to get into that lead and get a good drive out to the chicane. Easier said than done.
He's keeping himself in a good position.
Hafiz Arofa in the green of one XOX TKR racing team. Izzat Zaidi in P2. Then you've got Ahmed Afif Amran. Right at the back of that little group, you've got Uezu. So down to P12. They're still in with a genuine opportunity, I think, of taking a victory here. Of those back 4, Uezu, April King, Dimas Julia, Murabil, they're just being dropped a little bit by the top 8.
About 1 second covering the first 7 here. And it looks as though the group behind them could be just hauling them in. Yeah, that group's going to get bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, they have indeed hauled them in, just as I was thinking they were going to be dropped off. But Ahmed Afif Rahman is leading by a decent pace up at the front. Wayu Aji still in that leading group. Just make sure you're in a reasonable position with 2 laps to go. Still be in contention with 2 laps to go. And then it depends on your racecraft. Ahmed Afif leads again, going up the hill. It's almost deja vu all over again.
Yeah, 3rd time, I think, in this race, and he's been swallowed up again before he got to the finish line.
I think it's more than that, Barry. I think it's every single lap. So 5 times he's tried, and 5 times he's been swallowed up. Going into the lead, Hafiza Rufa once again. There is Wayu Aji Trilaksana, red helmet, P5. Just at the moment, Piraponglu Voinpeng for Team One for All. He's joining them. Izzat Saidi has been in or near the front. Also in there, bike number 87 is Nazarul Izzat. This is building up really, really nicely.
Yeah.
And you're quite right, that other little group of 4 have joined onto the back, so it's 12 with a genuine chance of taking the victory here.
Underbone racing at its best, Des, and this is a completely different circuit to the kind of circuit they're used to racing on, but it works really well.
Lots of smiles in the pit lane and the garages, as we did the pit walk earlier on before. And smiles of enjoying racing, knowing that there's a tough task ahead. But coming to this circuit, it's different, it's undulating, you've got different challenges, plus the fact we're in Japan, as Nazrul Izzat has the lead for the very first time. Ahmed Afif Rahman.
Engine gone there, that's Wayu Aji Trilaksana, I think.
Yeah, it's the red helmet. Wayu Aji, yesterday's race winner, will not get a win double. And that is a big, big boost for Izzat Zaidi, bike number 98, currently in P3. It's a big boost for Ahmed Afif Amran, currently leading. It's a big boost for John Emerson and Gito. All of those will know. Is it Wayu Aji?
Yeah.
Can we get confirmation?
Yeah, number 60.
Indeed, Wayu Aji Trilaksana is out. So, a P1, a P2, 2 P2s and a P3, and now it did not finish. Ahmed Afif Rahman leads going up the hill once again. 6 times he's led up the hill. This time, he maintains his lead, and he drags along with him Izzat Zaidi, bike number 98. Ooh, the whole championship changes with that one moment, with that one blown engine.
It was looking so good with the consistency of Wayu Aji. He got 4 podiums out of 5 starts up to yesterday.
Ahmed Afif Amran leading from the front, as he did in race number 2 of the season, and he was able to actually go and win that. But by then he'd been able to establish a long lead, but he's really putting the pressure on. Izzat Zaidi is not going to be shrugged off, neither is the UMA Racing.
Nazarul, yeah.
April King Moscado's up there as well. Is that April King? I think it is, you know.
Yeah, it is, yeah, number 23.
Yeah,
23, sorry.
April King's got himself into that little group as well. Well done, April King Moscado. We've been waiting for him to come good for the Philippines and for his own self. He was standout, the best racer in the Philippines Championship last season, won 10 or 12 races.
And Eamon Taradin, Afif's Cardinals teammate, is also in that group towards the rear. And Oyewezu, who led from pole position, back in about 8th or 9th place.
This is building up beautifully. Ahmed Afif Amran, though, leads, not by much. There's less than a second covering the top 8 racers. And Erman Tajudin and John Ngito, they're not too far behind now. Neither is Owezo, but they need to make sure they don't get dropped, those bottom 3. And indeed they're not. Going up the hill once again, it's a familiar phrase. Ahmed Afif Amran leads going up the hill, but that lead is obliterated by Izzat Zaidi, who just gets the track through. I really am wondering what Afif Amran is thinking on each occasion. Or is it just a case of making sure he's in that front position, Barry?
It's a bit of experimentation, isn't it? The rest of the pack were much closer to him that time, and he just couldn't get away up the hill. The lap before he could, and we've got another
third casualty
out that looks like one of the Vietnamese Hondas.
Onduk.
And Hafiza Rofa getting back in front of Afif Amran.
Izzat Zaidi in that little group as well. Bike number 98, Ahmed Afif Amran. Bike number 50, the easy to see lime green tyres or lime green wheel. Ueso just grimly hanging on at the back for Team One for All, and also Pirapong in the other easy to pick out orange front with the white racing suit.
Murabil Vitoni, we haven't mentioned him too much, but he's up there as well.
Certainly is. Bike 157. Ahmed Afif Amran on the wheel of the front man, who is Izzat Zaidi. April King Moscado has got himself into that little group, the purple livery of UMA Racing Philippines. Really is impossible to pick, and I won't ask you to pick, Barry Russell, because I've led you down too many dark alleys with that question.
Yeah, and I had one lucky comment I made during qualifying. No. Oh, and there's a rider down, I can see.
It's one of the Team One for All, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's Pirapong Labuingpeng.
I think it is Pirapong.
So Pirapong is out. Yesterday's 1 and 2, both out of the race. This time, Afif Amran decides P2 is where he wants to be. Does he make his move alongside Izzat Zaidi? No, he doesn't. Afif Amran in P3. Go, 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 say the Cardinals racing team. They've got both of their racers in that little group. Ayman Taroudin, who we've not really mentioned, he's at the back of that little tail. Ahmed Afif Amran currently in P3, but the new race leader is April King Moscado from UMA Racing of the Philippines, building up beautifully now as we see a happily walking Pirapong Labuingpeng. Difficult position to go out on the chicane, but no flag.
Yeah, and
April King is leading the way, Barry Russell.
yeah, Philippines coming to the fore late in the race. That's Natural, I think, behind him, isn't it?
Yeah, Nazrul Izzat was right behind him. But April King Moscado, who's not had the best of seasons so far.
Just looking there at number 24, the 1XOX machine of Hafisa. Yeah, he's capable of a little bit of magic, as we saw in Sepang.
Okay, Ahmed Afif Amran, once again, he decides, I want to lead this. It really has been a brave, brave display from Ahmed Afif Amran. We've mentioned him so often. He's tried to be in the lead. April King Moscado is tracking him. Everybody's tracking him, but April King is closest. They come into the chicane. What kind of a drive out does Ahmed Afif get here?
Yeah, April King really close to him, isn't he?
You always think that Ahmed Afif is a little bit too tight, and April King will take the drag and will be able to overtake him going up the hill.
Yeah, that's it. Well, he's been experimenting, Afif, and now he needs to put it all together.
April King Moscado has the lead coming into the final lap. 6 very, very close to each other. 6 with less than half a second between them. It's mental. It's fabulous stuff. 87, Nazrul Izzat is the new race leader. April King Moscado just behind him. You've also got in there Izzat Zaidi. And Ahmed Afif, having been for so long the race leader, he's now in P4 and has to worry because he's got the black and gold of the Indonesians lining up behind him. Murabil and Dimas Juli.
Yeah, he hasn't tried too many times what it's like to not be at the front at this stage of the lap.
But this is surely a bit late to experiment, because this is the last chance he'll have it. April King Moscado has the lead, but Nazrul Izzat goes outside of him. Nazrul Izzat, and then our hero Ahmed Afif comes back in to P2. What a finale we're getting. Izzat Zaidi it is, bike 98, who has the lead. Afif Amran in P2. He was sounding confident beforehand. He was looking to be in the leading group. This is building up beautifully. Final half lap. Nazrul Izzat Zaidi hunkers down. Dry chicane for the final time, Barry Russell. Nazrul Izzat leads. Ahmed Afif Amran, he decides that he wants to drive out. Ahmed Afif has been in the lead. This time, is he able to get the drag up the hill? It's number 98, Izzat Zaidi, who has the lead going up the hill. No, Ahmed Afif Amran can't get close enough as they come over the brow of the hill. It is going to be a terrific victory for Izzat Zaidi. And Afif Amran ends up in P5. April King Moscado in 2. Izzat Zaidi 1. Murabil 4, Nazrul 3, but Izzat Zaidi, he left it late.
What
Did it perfectly.
brilliantly judged win by Izzat. Absolutely perfectly timed. You could see all the experience there. April King came through really strongly. He had a lot of momentum, but he was too far behind. And a good result there for Nazrul Izzat. And Murabil, we saw a good result for him. We'll see more in fourth place.
Afif Amran ending up in P5, and we'll talk an awful lot more about him in the highlights, because he was in the lead for so often, but in the end he just has to settle for P5. As for Izzat Zaidi, well, this really helps his championship charge, because he was 25 points adrift going into this race. Why Ajit Trilaksana crashed out. We are all square at the top of the standings of the Underbone 150 after 6 races of the season.
Yeah, drama in the stats, drama on the track. Des, I'm going to go and do my moonlighting job now. I'm going to head down to Parc Fermé.
So Barry Russell will be doubling up Izzat Zaidi Salahan. Second victory of the season after a P4 yesterday. Timed it absolutely superbly. And also a really good performance by April King Moscado. We've been looking for April to really show the form that he showed in Philippines last season. That's his first podium of the season. He has had a P5. Now he's got a podium. It'll move him on to 55 points. And P3 for Nazrul Izzat. Nazrul Izzat, that's his second podium of the season. So it's now really shaping up very nicely in the Underbone 150cc class. Here's the result. Izzat Zaidi taking it by 1/10 of a second from April King Moscado. 2/10 ahead of Nazrul Izzat Bahoudin on the Yamaha. Murabil Vitoni from Indonesia picking up P4 ahead of the unfortunate Ahmed Afif Amran. Dimas Juli Atmoko picking up P6, just 7/10 down. Less than a 0.8 of a second between the top 6. Ayman Taharuddin, good result for the Cardinals racing team, 2 in the top 7. Uezo, pole sitter, has to be content with P8 and 8 points. Hafiz Arofa, 3 times he led this race. He has to come up in P9. John Emerson Ngito, his run on the podium ends at 2, finishes in P10. Shafi Grosley again underwhelms with a P11 ahead of Jordan Badaru. Hafid picks up 3 points for 13. Antoine will pick up points for P14 ahead of Pirapong Luboinpeng, who didn't finish the race, so might end up pointless. Same with Duktam. Wayu Aju Trilaksana, the championship leader, well, engine failure means that his season hasn't been ruined by any stretch of the imagination. He's still top of the championship standings, but it is now a very different scenario as we catch up with number 98, Izzat Zaidi. Mohammed Izzat Zaidi, as he goes into the Parc Fermé, having picked up his second race win of the season. Great performance by April King Moscado as well. We had been talking about April King and how he'd been a little bit underwhelming, but a P2, that'll really propel him, if not into the championship standing, certainly into a situation where he'll be looking to challenge. As for Ahmed Afif Amran, well, when we see the highlights, I'm looking forward to seeing how often I did mention him. He led up the hill on 9 of the 10 laps. On the 10th lap, he decided that he wanted to chase. And even then in the chase, he ends up with a P5 following a P6 yesterday. Really frustrating for the Cardinals race. And they had a clear strategy, and they were just unable to pull it off. As for John Emerson Aguito, for the Philippines, well, frustration for him and frustration for Giancarlo Maurizio. But at least one Philippines team is very happy. There's a lot of celebrations going on in that Parc Fermé. And the Philippines, well, noisy group whenever they have an opportunity to celebrate. And this is a good opportunity because April King is back in form and is back in contention. It's the Malaysian flag that's raising high. And somewhere amidst that scrum, I hope we'll be able to find Barry Russell. Well, April King very, very happy. We're going straight on to the podium. They get things done pretty quickly. The Parc Fermé and the presentation area very close to each other. Girls waiting patiently. Let's get your celebrations done, fellas. We've got some prizes to give out. And for once, it won't be Wayu Aji-Trilaksana on that podium. Having had 4 podiums in the previous 5 races, a blown engine means that this season is now blown wide open. Stefan Carapier behind the scenes. The introductions being made. This is behind the scenes of the presentation area. Good to get that. Third place, Nazrul Izzat Bahudin for Uma Racing Maju Asia. Second place, a very, very happy Uma Racing Philippines, April King Moscado. And for the Pittsburgh JRT one-way team, Izzat Zaidi Salahan. You think he's happy? Malaysian flag will wave high, and the Nagara coup will be sung with gusto.
The manager of the winning team joining the podium for Pittsburgh JRT one way. And next, please stand for the national anthem of Malaysia.
National anthem sung for Izzat Zaidi Salahan. Pittsburgh JRT one-way team. Very, very much enjoying that victory because it will push Izzat Zaidi level on points. Mr. Wataru Endo, General Manager of Sugo International Racing Course, the hosts for the Asia Road Racing Championship, handing out the trophies. Firstly to Nazrul Izzat. Well done to Uma Racing, by the way. They've teams of both the Uma Racing Maju Asia, based in Malaysia, and the Uma Racing Philippines teams, 3 and 2. The purple and black, easy to pick out. Well done, April King. I've been waiting for him to show that kind of form. Izzat Zaidi Salahan timed it absolutely to perfection. He started off in P2. He had a P4 yesterday, P2 on the grid. He had a P4 yesterday, and he's added that to a victory today. Stefan Carapier, the FIM Asia president, who's been a real presence, continually encouraging and smiling figure. Particularly happy when Filipinos do well. Team award to Pittsburgh JRT one-way. Now the photo opportunity and confirmation. Izzat Zaidi Salam takes the victory ahead of April King and Nigel is up behind him. Two of 5 races completed today, both classic victories. Really competitive races. We've still got the 600 cc's, the 250s and the 1000s. But first, we've got the highlights. Best action of the Underbone 150cc race 2 here at the Sugo International Circuit. And Uezo, the local Japanese, on pole position, getting off to a decent start. An early problem for champion Gupita Krejna. Yamaha, engine failure for him. At one stage we had 12 races at the front, separated by less than a second, but a constant at the front was number 50, Ahmed Afif Amran from the Cardinals racing team. He was constantly battling for the front, and in 9 of the 10 laps he led going up the hill at the end of the lap, and on virtually every occasion he was caught up and swallowed up by the pack, so he would later change his tactics. Even that didn't work. Bike number 98 is Izzat Zaidi. He started in P2 on the grid and was always there or thereabouts, as was Hafiza Rofa. And latterly, about midway through, April King Moscato came through. Now then, that was a key moment. We saw Wayu Aji Trilaksana trailing off, engine failure there, so the championship leader saw that he would have a problem. Vietnamese problems as well, the Honda blowing it's a difficult course, clearly too much, and then Pitapong Loboinpeng, who would get up later on, but his bike was helped off as Pitapong tried to build on yesterday's podium position. April King Moscato, bike number 43, getting into the action for Ahmed Afif Amran. Bike number 50 was always looking to be involved. On coming into the chicane on the final lap, it was all dependent on this. Ahmed Afif Amran changed his tactics. They did not work, because look at this. Izzat Zaidi led coming out of the chicane, had the drive up the hill. Ahmed Afif Amran just didn't have the power. He was caught up, would eventually drop down to P5, but look at that. Izzat Zaidi Salam repeated what Ayu Aji Trilaksana did yesterday, led out of the chicane, up the hill, and took the victory, his second of the season, and puts him level on points at the top of the championship standings.
And we're here on the podium with Underbone Race 2 winner, Izzat Zaidi. Izzat, congratulations. That was a beautifully judged win. And with the misfortune that to your championship rival, Wayu Aji, that puts you in a good position for the championship. Tell us how you're feeling now.
Firstly, I want to say GRT Peace Bike One Way Racing Team, because set up motor the best. Alhamdulillah, syukur Alhamdulillah, I win in the Sugo track. In the race, I follow the front group, then in last lap, I try the best, and in the winner, special for my wife and my son. Thank you.
And Izzat, what would you like to say to your fans in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, see you in Sepang October. See you guys.
Congratulations to Izzat. We will see you in a few minutes down on the grid for the 250 race.
But firstly, we'll just update you on the championship standings, and it's a neck-and-neck tie between Izzat Zaidi, the race winner here. He's top of the standings courtesy of 2 race wins this season over the one for Wayu Aji Trilaksana, but can't be separated. Ahmed Afif Amran, tell you what, 66 points for him. He was so unfortunate not to pick more up today. April King Moscato moves up to P4 for the Philippines with 55 points. Ahead of Najrul Izzat Bahoudin. Hafiza Rofa on 50 points alongside alongside John Emerson and Gito. The Philippines and Malaysia dominating the top of the leaderboard, and it really is exciting going into the 4th round in Sepang. Exciting still to come here in Sugo. Coming up next after the break, we move on to the Asia Production 250cc, where we see if Andy Mohamed Fadli and Reza Danica Arons can continue their season-long battle. You're with the Asian Road Racing Championship from the Sugo International Circuit in northeast Japan. We'll see you after a very short break.